it's just mean, and it sounds like a rude mood, you know?
So the other day I stumbled upon this Stevie Ray Vaughan video, which is kind of this interview / lesson of Stevie actually teaching the stuff himself. And one of the things that really struck me was when he played Rude Mood. And I'm like, I've always wanted to learn how to play that. I wonder how difficult it is. Spoiler alert, it's really difficult. So after a few days of messing with it, I realized I'm never going to play it as good as Stevie, but that doesn't mean there's not a lot of stuff to learn in here, and some really cool, kind of realizations I had while I was learning this, and a couple of things I learned about my picking. So here we go, Rude Mood, probably one of the hardest Stevie Ray Vaughan riffs, and let's get it. Tabs are linked down below. Tune your guitars on a half step. And if you have time and you're enjoying the lessons, do me a huge favor, hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. You can also check out my brand new course, the Chord Expander, which has absolutely nothing to do with this lesson, but if you want to support the channel, it is there for you, and let's get the lesson. So let's dive into this, and if you're curious about the tones at all, I've got the exact same rig as Stevie Ray Vaughan, a Dr. Z Z-Rack. I'm joking, this is not what Stevie used at all. I'm using my Z-Rack. I've got the GE7 boosting a couple different frequencies to make it a little bit more like Stevie. And then I recently got this 70s Strat, which you guys will be hearing about very soon. And I am on position 4 on my Strat, but tones aside, there's really 4 main components of this that I want to break down out of the riff that make it this kind of just bulldozer blues shuffle. Overall, we have to understand the base of what's happening here. So the main riff is this. Okay? That'd be like one time through the riff. And it sounds maybe easier than what you might think, but it's actually very, very difficult to control because it's just like chaos happening the whole time. So in order to get that, we have to figure out what the riff is at its most basic form, which is this. Which is a very common blues shuffle. All I'm doing is I'm doing everything twice. So open low E string, 3rd fret low E string, 2nd fret on the A, then 4th fret, 2nd fret on the D, and then he kind of starts it over again like halfway. So he goes back to 3 on the low E, 2 on the A, and then 4 on the A string. Now that's basically the riff, and in classic blues fashion, to get to the 4 chord, or the A section, you just move everything down a string. So start on the A string open. So that's the first component to getting this riff right. Now, what is the next component? Well, if you listen to the riff, when he plays it, he hits that at the end. So to me, that's the second component. Getting that open little stab. Again, trademark kind of blues thing. And he might not always be hitting the high string. He's just kind of raking up, and it's a real quick, that kind of sound on there. So you try throwing that into the riff. Okay, so from there, after that, he hits that open. So now, of course, the challenging part here is he's doing it really fast. That's how fast he's going. It's moving. You got to be on your toes. What I found out about this that I didn't even know Stevie did until I researched a little bit was the way I normally hold my pick is I hold it kind of, I guess, what you would call like the traditional way. Let me try to get that in focus. Where the point, I'm picking the strings with the most pointed part of the pick. And what happened was I was like, man, it's just grabbing the strings too much. I cannot play this riff with my pick like that. So what I did was, and I hear players do this all the time, I was like, well, I'll roll it onto the shoulder of the pick, the not so pointed side. And then I was like, oh, perfect. Now I can play it. It's much smoother and easier to get through the strings. Well, I did some research. That's how Stevie picks. So I'm like, oh, well, no wonder. And it gives it more of that scratch. Like, listen to the pointed edge. And then the rounded side. Like, I don't know how different it sounds to you through the camera, but it sounded quite a bit different. So, if you haven't done that yet, try using the shoulder of the pick, because what happens here in a second makes it really difficult to use the point of the pick. So, had to adjust the camera. So the next component is tough, and it took a little bit of experimenting. So obviously when Stevie does this, he's raking through the strings. There's a lot of left-hand palm muting to give you that percussive, sound to it. And what I did was I just kind of like listened. You hear, I mean, it sounds different wherever you do it. So I'm muting everything with my left hand. I was just trying to find the sweet spot because it looked like Stevie was picking more up here. Like sometimes he picks a little bit more over the middle pickup. It seemed like he had moved his hand forward a little bit. And right here, right in front of the middle pickup. Now the challenging part is when I'm playing all those single notes, I'm muting everything other than the note that I'm playing. See, so when I play 3rd fret low E string, I'm muting everything. That way I can, just kind of strum through the chord. I'm not really focused on hitting just. See, it doesn't sound right. That is happening the whole time, so you really have to get used to muting with your left hand. And I think when he starts this riff, little side note, he starts with an up. You hear him rake up. Okay? So rake, and then he goes into. Okay? So you've got all that figured out, and you just do the exact same thing by moving it down a string. So you go to the A, and up. Okay? It's tough to get down because of how fast it is. So there you guys have it. Get your rude mood on, Stevie Ray Vaughan style, and just have fun with it. Like I said, there were a lot of things that I took away from that, like turning the pick around. I actually used that this time, and where I was actually kind of scratching the strings. Lots of cool little things, I've always taken that muting away from Stevie. Oh, I need to do a lot better at But that, just rude mood's not one I hear people talk about all the time. It's always Lenny and Scuttlebutt and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, if you would, get the tabs down below. Check out the new course, the Chord Expander, if you're interested in that at all. I know it has nothing to do with this video, this lesson anyways, but I figured I'd throw it in here if you want to support the channel. And just hit the subscribe button. I'll see y'all later. Bye, homies. Woo! In the bluesy Stevie Ray Vaughan style.